Unbelievable. System online. Data organized. Moving forward. Unbelievable.
There are two main metrics to look at, the KPI and the OKR. In my opinion, the one that you need is my VIP cohort, ready to lend an ear. What we have today is we're going to discuss KPIs and OKRs and why they're so important, and to understand them both and what specific scenarios are best used. And I will give my own take as to what I feel we should strive for. And it's not going to be conventional. It's going to be something totally unique. So without further ado, let's begin. So we have these cogs and OKR. On the left, you see the KPI is managing many other performance ratios that give better analytics to a manager that can make the best decisions possible. Yet, it misses one key thing: the vision, the purpose behind an individual joining a company. And that's where OKR comes in. It has the ability to take that mission objective and push it on overdrive. Because if you have 10 KPIs and one OKR, all the KPIs in the world is just giving you analytics. But the OKR is pushing you forward on that one thing that is the biggest rock to get you in the market position that you want to be in, or whatever you want to set your thing out to be. Now, the opinion that I wanted to give to you is that we do not want to put them on pedestals. Each one has their own, and it's best to bring them together as one for your overall satisfaction. So let's continue forward. The productivity paradox. So, what is the main thing that employees feel when they go to work and there's just a bad manager that doesn't really listen? Take into regard their listening is not there. Most people don't develop it because our ego and our arrogance don't align to what the mission is and what's the higher calling and to the service necessary. So this one's going to emphasize with the OKR between the inspired employees versus the satisfied. The satisfied one is just meeting the daily quota. They're just doing it because it's their assigned role. The inspired employee doesn't just do for quota. They go above and beyond because there is something that's driving them. And that's why an organization can grow exponentially by an inspired employee. And the short answer to that is leadership. So, great visual here as to what makes it easier to remember an KPI to an OKR. So with a KPI, think of it like a dashboard. You're driving and you see all the acceleration, the miles per hour, your fuel tank. Those things are important, yet they're not the only thing. You don't hop in a car to look at the dashboard. You hop in the car with the dashboard to give you enough information to act upon. So at the bottom it says measures ongoing health, speed, and efficiency. Indicates what is currently happening within the expected operational thresholds. So, as I was saying before, just gives you the data. Now let's go on to the OKR, the navigation. This is where it drives change, sets direction, defines the destination, and articulates the ambitious outcomes the business needs to create. So we have gone away from reading the dashboard to now we are taking control of the vehicle and going somewhere. And by us navigating somewhere, we are positioning ourselves for abundance or growth. And if we position in that regard, it can be there. Yet, never forget that if you drive it poorly, you'll be going to places of scarcity and less. So that's why both of them together create the whole system. And each one has its huge role. And they should be separated in those regards and brought together to make the organization fly. Alrighty, let's do a little more of a deeper analysis on KPIs. The monitoring system health as an example. Nature reflects the ongoing baseline of the health of process of the system. The function helps the leaders verify if the business is performing within expected operational thresholds. And limitations measures the activity, and output indicates what isn't happening but does not inherently drive behavioral changes. And I had this just crazy thought come to my mind, and it went to the Kanban board. Each one is like where you would place the item for which stage it's at. I think of this type of outline in that regard. So nature is like the constant, so this is where it would be ready to go. The function is like there too, and then the limitations too. So you can make it for each part of what you're doing. It might not be the best example, but it just came to mind because of how it was organized. So let's continue. OKRs. Engineering strategic change. Objectives. Concise, qualitative, inspirational statements aligned with the company's mission. The key results. The hows. 3 to 5 specific, measurable, time-bound outcomes indicating the objective is met. And the action. Specific projects and tasks and daily efforts that drive key results. So the bigger difference that we see here is we're switching from having real-time information to what is the driving force behind change. And that's the greatest differentiator. So right here and now we got distinguishing the dual systems. Purpose. Evaluate the purpose-driven performance and health. OKRs. Drive change and align focus. The scope. I would say narrow, functional, or process-specific. I don't believe KPIs are that narrow because you can find the right ones that do the thing. It's just most of the time it doesn't have that broadness as OKRs have in its systematic operating system. Duration. Stable long-term trends. OKRs, agile quarterly rhythm. Buildability. Buildability. Standalone metrics carrying equal weight. And in OKRs, modular and stacked up team goals and roll up. And flexibility. I don't know. I think KPIs are more flexible than OKRs. What do you guys think? Because they say it's dynamic. It's only dynamic if you make it that way, or rigid. But in most cases, it's going to be following these two. So, great visuals here. The ticket crisis, output versus outcome. So, look at this box on the conveyor belt. And it's not just one box. It is multiple boxes that are just getting overloaded. So, we're measuring output now because of how many boxes are coming out. Complete 200 tickets. And tickets is now being referenced as the boxes. And then at the very bottom, it says, what's the result driven for this? The target's hit, but the ticket volume climbs. Queues grow and customers wait. So, you're meeting capacity by the rate that you're pushing out. And that's good and dandy for a time. Yet, you're going to be constrained in that regard because you're not building a deeper system. And the system would be, instead of the conveyor belt driving the outcome, the funnel. Resolve the support ticket crisis. Key results. Reduce response time by 10%. Improve CSAT by 5%. 3. Increase through output to 190 per hour. The results shifted team behavior to fix the root causes, improving the customer outcome. So, you're now having the ability to handle the volume that's getting hit at you and the ability to solve the problems, so it now makes it easier. When both of these are combined, you get heavier results. Because one knows the capacity of which you can be doing, even though it's running hard. And this one's solving it, so now it can keep operating on that conveyor belt. One moment. Thank you, guys. I needed to just get a little sip of water. Alrighty. So we have an interlocking system, as I've been saying multiple times. And we got that infinity loop. So 1, we want to diagnose and fix. A failing KPI triggers a targeted OKR reinvents. It has that weird word. I'm not going to butcher it. It just is going to reinvent. 2, we are going to see how it is applied. A healthy KPI requires a massive leap in ambitious OKR stretches and systems. And then a failing KPI triggers a targeted OKR reverse and decline, and so forth. So pretty much, the fixing is in this step 2. The first part is diagnosing. Switches up. Then our third one is testing. We want to make sure that we're testing all these things to make sure that they are yielding the best results with our analysts and our spreadsheets and SQLs, data sets. All right, next. So let's go to the goal setting flywheel. First one, we want to have a vision statement. If we have no vision, we have no direction and no plan to go back to something that we want to create. That's not there yet. So, step 2, tie into hybrid performance management. So, find your style. Figure out what works best in the company. What KPIs are yielding the best and what OKRs can get in there to make it even better. This is just figuring your style. 3, communicate, framework, and train. So, instead of you just winging it, let's start creating SOPs and documentation to allow this to duplicate itself so people understand what's the expectations. 4, secure team buy-in and bottom-up insights. Sounds difficult, but let's go at it like this. You have A players, and they are really into change. So they're going to be getting in. You just have to communicate with them on a daily basis, and they're going to be going out there. Go-getters is the short answer for them. Now, the bottom insights are the people that are below the A players, the Bs and the Cs. They are opposed to change. They just want to keep to the status quo. That's why you have to have insights on them. What is preventing them from wanting to do these changes, and see if there is applicable things that you can do. Yet if their recommendations are just their limiting beliefs, you have to cut the fluff. Maybe you have to let them go or redesignate them in a different department. That's where being a leader and figuring out the hard calls is in the range. So after 4, we have create 5 to 3 high impact objectives. So these are going to be the main rocks. Like if we messed up on all the 30 other tasks and we only do these 3 and 5, we'll be set to succeed. That's where you want it to be with those 3 to 5. 6, set measurable, outcome-focused key results. And there's this one great book called The 12-Week Year. And it goes into, instead of you trying to think that it has to be a year, make every year happen in 12 weeks. So it would be a quarter. And since you're thinking that 1 year happens in this time frame, you're going to be going harder to see what is being done in there. Instead of waiting years, you're now putting a year into that constrained timeline. And then Petros and Parkinson's law work in that favor. Next, conduct regular check-ins or development. I would be cautious on the check-ins. If the check-ins are going way beyond like 30 to 60 minutes per check-in, that's not the type of management style you want. Unless it's like a huge meeting that needs to be done. Then the expectation has been met. But let's just say regular debriefings. You probably want to just do like 1 to 3 minutes of just like, here's the objectives, this is what's going on, and not be talking all the fluff. You can do that outside of work or an outing. And that's pretty much the 7 steps of doing your goal setting flywheel. So execution guardrails, OKRs, do's and don'ts. Because OKRs have the ability to go off the rails much easier than a KPI. Because the KPI is going for direct data that's being read live. An OKR is going to something a little more abstract, and the abstraction without grounded reality and pragmatism, you can go really in a bad zone. So, do's, align the OKRs with overarching company goals. Perfect. So your mission statements, your motto, your vision boards, all that. All in there. And SOPs. That was one part I missed. My bad. And set ambitious goals beyond comfort zones. Comfort zones are the familiarity that takes away from the meaningful work. You don't want to just be on this constant wheel that's not doing something impactful. You want it to really set in, away from comfort, and go hard for something. Keep it manageable and strict, maximum of 3 to 5 KRs per objective. KRs, key results. So, if you have objective, I need to create a car that is one of a kind. You want to say, I want to put a, what would be the best analogy? RGB lights and some other topics. I'm just not good. My brain's going off on that. Don't allow it to be 20 things as your OKR, because it's just going to take away from the purpose. And adjust shifting business conditions to mid-cycle if necessary. So, if the OKR is doing bad and you know that it's not working, don't wait till the end of the quarter to do something. Do it immediately once the data is coming in that it must need change. And you can take it up to your board of directors or whoever else. But act faster than just allowing it to play its course. Alrighty, so now we've looked at the do's. Let's look at the don'ts. I'm just going to go through these fast. Do not link OKRs directly to individual performance reviews. Simply put it, if they feel that they're doing something so great, they might try to push you for a salary increase because of, oh, I've done these things and I've set these OKRs. The OKR is actually something that shouldn't really be 100% achieved. It should be like achieved under that because it's so huge that you're like trying to do something out of this world. Do not treat key results as a task-based to-do list. To-do lists can fill in with so much junk of just our daily habits and stuff that it's not going to go after the main thing. That's what they're going at. And then don't expect 100%, as I was saying before, because these things are supposed to be ambitious. And don't make key results dependent on completion of other key results. So, it's not a step-by-step checklist. These are things that are a huge vision that you want to go after. Best word for that one that I want to go back to. You want to have hunger. Hunger and taste. If you taste something once in your life that's, let's say, eloquent, that just has a fancy style to it, and you have been relinquished of that ability to have it, you will run the earth over and over again because of that one taste in your life. Never underestimate that ability. Thus, the Talent Health Dashboard, the ENPS. Now, you may be wondering, what the heck is all this? These are examples of types of KPIs that you can use. So just keep that in mind. As before, the ENPS, the Employee Net Promoter Score, promotes minus detractors, a core indicator of employee advocacy. Turnover rate, you can also call it churn. Voluntary departures divided by average headcount tracks the stability of the workforce. So whoever's coming in, are they staying for a while? It's not just jumping boat. Absenteeism. So pretty much unplanned absences, days divided by total available work days, acts as an early warning sign for burnout. So pretty much the mission is not helping them. They feel disgruntled that when they enter that space of work, it's not doing something near and dear to their purpose and to the purpose of the organization. Pulse survey score. The real-time sentiment tracked via concise 3 to 5 questions, weekly and monthly surveys implemented to get more data on this pulse survey. Now we have more examples. We have Career Development Index, the CDI, weighted aggregate score, 40% training plus 30% internal mobility plus 30% mentorship engagement. And then you just have the chart of like the stairs of increase over and over the period of time. The internal mobility rate, internal moves divided by the eligible employee pool, signals effective talent development. Let me repeat that one more time. The internal mobility rate, internal moves divided by the eligible employee pool, signals effective talent development. So it looks a little confusing in words. Simply means that they're looking inside their own organization, and people that are moving up faster inside the organization shows the rate of growth. And that's a good thing, because talent ain't just being stagnant. The best minds are moving to the higher roles in your organization to increase it for the long haul. Training and completion rate. Employees completing training and divided by their total enrollment. Pretty simple answer. Just seeing how are they doing on their required trainings. Time to hire. Days from the opening position of the offer acceptance to... Oh, okay. I totally blanked for a second there. It's just pretty much a position that's open to them getting into the room and accepting the offer. Average is 42 days. So if you have the faster way of getting them in before then, that's cool. And that can be your unfair advantage. All right, cross-functional operational diagnostic. Recruitment and finance. Cost per hire. Internal plus external cost divided by total hires. National average is $4,700. That's just national averages. All right, business operations. Labor utilization and process procedures developed. So pretty much visuals, processes, as I was saying with SOPs. Customer and sales. Customer lifetime value. You need to remember this one. The CLV is it's abbreviated. The CLV is pretty much getting monthly revenue over and over and over. I think it's actually more important than the Net Promoter Score and the SCLA because it's constant revenue coming in. The other ones are important for getting an idea of how the closing rates and sales are doing. But if you have people already inside that are paying monthly, you can do upsells again and again because they like the product and you're already familiar with them. Alrighty. Financial bottom line. Team effectiveness ratio. Gross profit generated per dollar spent on salary. Working smarter, not longer. Pretty much. 4-hour work week. OKRs in the wild. So let's get some better examples going. Google, the pioneer. They were the ones that pretty much went after this hard. Updates 4 to 6 OKRs quarterly. Uses a strict 0.0 to 1.0 grading scale, aiming for 0.6 to 0.7 to ensure goals remain highly ambitious. And then you have the visuals to the right of that. LinkedIn, the connector, focuses on 3 to 5 OKRs per quarter. Employees at the bottom up approach, allowing managers to set their own OKRs aligned to the aligned collective mission. Amazon, the accelerator, uses OKRs to maintain relentless focus on unchanging fundamental objectives such as fast, cheap, easy customer experience. Jeff Bezos is a huge advocate on not worrying about your competition, just have such a ruthless priority on your customers that you're outbeating everyone else because they don't think that. They want to outbeat you. Building a high-performance culture. Andy S. Grove is the man for that, if you want to read a book on it. But let's look at the 3 parts here. Measure the health. Use precise KPIs to monitor the vital signs of your business systems. Correct. 2, drive change. Deploy agile OKRs to push past comfort zones and solve root cause failures. And then 3, unlock capacity. Combine both and eliminate organizational drag, capturing the 125% productivity boost of a truly inspired, aligned workforce. And where the 125% came from was from the satisfied workers instead of the regular workers that haven't had that spark inside of them. And that is all. So, the main thing that I highly recommend to you, go out, learn as many KPIs as you can and OKRs. Build them inside your company, figure out what works for you and what doesn't, and make it your own. Don't allow the rules to write your ending. Adhere to the ones that are mandatory that keep the business operational. Yet those that are kind of on flimsy ground, challenge it and put your flag there and see how it goes. I am honored to have you, my VIP cohort. And become the VIP you're meant to be. Control the flow. Control your business. Deuces.